Special episode. We got our first guests on. Matt actually is not a host today, unlike usual. Just me and Braden today.
I'm still talking though.
We got Gin and Tonic here today.
Woo!
We got Josh. We got Matt. Welcome, boys. How you doing?
Thank you for having us.
Not too bad. Thank you so much for having us, man.
Yes,
it's
as
awesome.
your first official guest, or
Yeah,
our
day.
first
Honored.
official
Yeah.
guest.
You're
Honored,
half host,
man.
half guest, I
half
guess.
host, half guest
Yeah.
today, but yeah,
A little bit unusual.
more than excited to talk, because it's also our first official artist interview too.
Mhm.
Yeah,
As
that's
Gin and Tonic.
very true. Very true.
Yeah, you were telling us all about that. Your first interview sounds like didn't go a little bit too well.
It's very,
That's why
it's
it's
very
not.
questionable. I mean, it was it's a questionable interview.
Let's just say we'll just save it for the
for
long
for our
road
documentary, our 20-year
Yeah.
anniversary. That's
Nobody
when
will
it'll-
ever see
yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah,
20
no,
years.
I'm just
The
buried.
DVD. It's on the special features.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Just two.
Yeah.
The prequel interviews.
So I want to know like right away
Okay.
how you guys linked up, because we were talking a little bit earlier. Like the very first night we met was the night you came up for Gin and Tonic.
Ah, okay.
So because you guys have been friends for a little bit, right? But like when exactly did you like link up and actually start making music together?
Well, what side of the story do you want? Because there's two separate sides of the story. Because
Let's get both.
well,
Let's
start-
okay. We'll start with me.
Your side.
So I first came up with Gin and Tonic for a long time ago because I was getting sick of doing, I'm not gonna name any names, but just like, just doing shows that wasn't getting anybody anywhere. And rather than fusing genres, I wasn't feeling like my artist needs were met. And just needed something, just more of an outlet where I could bounce an idea off of somebody, aka Matt, and he'd be like, okay, this would sound cool, or we should do it this way and try that avenue and just try it that way. And long story short, it worked, and now we're boom.
Now 2 years later.
Yeah,
we're
going
stronger
for it,
than
man.
ever.
Yeah, so it sounds like you're kind of trying to do shows on your own before, but
Yeah.
you really didn't have like a real direction to go. Then you
No,
had Matt to
yeah.
sort of bounce ideas off.
Yeah.
Did
Kind
you
of get
know?
a partner in.
Did you know who was Gin
Yeah.
and who was Tonic right away?
Oh
Or
no, that took us. We
didn't know for the longest time. The first time somebody came up to us at a show was like, which one's gin, which one's tonic?
And that was.
And we looked at each other and I'm like, well, I drink more. And he's like, okay, he's gin then.
And
I'm
then
like,
I'm
okay.
tonic. And
Yeah.
we've only like had that foundation for like it's only been like that for a month, and
Pretty much, yeah.
and we've been making music for about just over 2
Just
years.
over. Yeah.
Right.
And so like we talked about it a couple times before, but it was never like a thought out process.
Not like a
Until other people started asking us like on a serious basis, and then we kind of let our fans decide, and then like he said, he drinks more, I drink less, so
Yeah.
it made sense. And then
Yeah.
he's
Just go from
gin
there.
and I'm tonic, so
That's really funny.
Yeah.
So you kind of just stumbled upon the name. You had no
Yeah.
idea it was Gin and Tonic. That's cool because like
Exactly.
I really like the branding you guys done to like the GinXTonic. I really like
Thank
that,
you.
and I really like the
Yeah.
name.
Thank
Like
you.
I think it just rolls off the tongue really well.
It
Like,
really
works.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It works for like a DJ group.
And
That's
like I said prior, like I had the name in my head for a long time, right? I just didn't know how to properly execute it and like go through that step to just really, have somebody there that would be as committed as I am to like making music, marketing it, because making music is the first step of it. But then there's the whole other back scene that nobody sees.
If you actually want to be successful,
Exactly.
live a real career, have a ton of fans, sell out shows, yeah.
Exactly. Nobody's ever gonna see that back end sort of deal. But what we took upon ourselves was like, no, we're not gonna hire other people to do it or create our posters or create our our art just to, or our merch just to sell to fans. We want to be there for the fans, and if somebody wants to come up, like there's been I can't tell how many times this summer I've been walking down the street, literally just up in Rutland, and people have been like, "Oh my God, you're that guy that I see on Facebook all the time," or I see on Instagram, and it's just like, "Oh, thanks, that's really sweet," you know. And a lot of them, especially Kelowna people, are very sweet and humble when they come up to you. You know, we've had the interaction here and there, very far and few between, that they come up and just, you know, they just want to have a selfie or just want to take a picture. "Where's your helmet? Where's your helmet?" It's like, "Well, I'm just out in the, I'm just out today, man." Like, no, it's, you know, like we're just
have it here in my pocket.
Exactly. Yeah, just let me pull it out. Yeah, no, that's pretty much it, man. Like it's a great, you know, Matt. I think you should elaborate a little bit more on that.
Yeah. So we met at Canadian Tire.
Yes.
And that's.
So you worked there too?
Yeah. He worked
Do you
CT crew.
Yeah.
do you guys know each other? Oh, you all know each other.
Well,
Yeah.
he
Oh,
quit.
Well, I quit.
A couple of months.
Yeah, I did quit actually. Yeah.
Yeah, he left.
So
a
did
couple
you and
months
Josh ever work together? Back then? Oh,
No.
Yeah.
Or, I don't think.
No,
he
I don't
left.
think the
No.
three of us worked
No.
together. No.
No, but yeah. So like.
like workaholics.
Yeah.
Canadian Tire.
Yeah. So when Josh started working at NC, when Josh started working at Canadian Tire, of course, I was always open to talk to the new employees and get to know them, and our manager asked us both to go and grab something, and so we started chatting about what we did outside of work and like hobbies and whatnot. And I mentioned how I did photography, videography, and then he mentioned how he was a DJ and he was doing shows. And then I was like, oh,
Well, I knew the name Alien Matt, and
Yeah.
before I started Canadian Tire, I sought that name out just because of his
that's right.
you know, design, his way he did his videos. I was like, oh, because I knew him through Lukeman, Chris, and then after before that fact, before that fact, it was just like, oh shit, this is the guy, right? I'm like, I was asking for you, and I would ask countless people and be like, oh, do you know Alien Matt? And like, what do you mean, the DJ? And I'm like, well, no, different Alien Matt, like the
Which I get
videographer.
confused.
Yeah,
I
big
get
time.
confused all the time.
It was a
Matt.
headache, man. I was
People
just
are like,
like,
Matt the Alien? I'm like, let's slow down for a
No,
second. I'm not there
that's-
yet.
yeah.
I'm not there yet.
One day.
Yeah, one day.
switched up.
Yeah, and so once I brought up to Josh that I had a drum pad, and then he mentioned how he just ordered a drum pad too.
Yeah.
And
I just got some sick gear, bro.
essentially, and so
Got some new.
Yeah.
and so I told him how I was like, oh, I've always wanted to do live performance, like drum pad work. And he's like, oh, I've wanted that too. And so with a couple of weeks, we started chatting back and forth. And he's like, hey, one day after work, you should come over. We should produce and essentially collab on a track.
Because that's how our one song Fire came out.
Yeah.
Was because that's what we did, was sitting because I was at my mom's house at the plate at the time, but I had aspirations, obviously, leaving my mom's house and you know, going on doing better things, and freaking did, but that's what came out of it.
So 2 years ago on May long weekend, actually all of us were out for drinks.
Yeah,
And,
that was a good time.
I think
Rest in peace, Roses.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Yeah.
And I think I ordered a gin and tonic. And that's when Josh brought up the idea. He's like, hey, I've been toying with this idea that I had in high school. And what's funny, too, is because when I was in high school, I had a friend, my old high school friend and I were actually going to start a DJ group. And so it just kind of was like Josh wanted to do a DJ group, I wanted to do a DJ group, and then when he mentioned Gin and Tonic, I was like, that's a dope name. And since since we work so well with bouncing ideas back and forth, we're not like, oh, we're just gonna be this set of genre. We're always open to different ideas, which is what makes us work so well together.
And that's so far and few between because, nobody wants to step outside their comfort zone.
No, people are scared too.
They really want to just keep to themselves, really. And it's really hard for getting somebody to be like, yeah, I'll try drum and bass with you. Let's try this out. Let's see how it goes.
And then also with Josh and I being two different music producers, usually they're clashing heads and they don't want to join forces together. So we're that rare duo that decided to join forces together.
And another rare thing is actually Gin and Tonic is a 3-piece.
That is also true.
It's two producers and a vocalist. Tremaine Thompson.
TJ.
Tremaine, where's he?
Oh, he couldn't make it today. I bitched him out, actually. I was like, oh, he can't make it today. He's like, no, man.
But one day we'll
I think he's out in van or something.
I didn't know that. So,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not a lot of people know about it. And we've come out with one song with him
Hyperspeed.
on vocals, which is Hyperspeed. And so, officially, Gin and Tonic is a 3-piece, but...
most of the time, if you see us at shows... It's just the 2-piece.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I was kind of confused.
We've talked about it in the past, but it's still that we've posted pictures of us three, and then majority of the time it's just us two.
Scheduling conflicts. He's
Kinda
there, we're here. It's like, we're still gonna play the show.
Exactly. We're not gonna drop if it's just the two of us, kind of deal.
So where have you guys gone to do some shows? Because I know you do a lot of your Vortex Room shows. You guys put those on
here at Hidden Gem Kelowna.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Please come check it out because we do a lot of those.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
What would you say, Matt, was our
I mean,
up in there?
We've been on we've had the chance to DJ for Sean Kingston, Necro. Sometimes if he can't make it to a show, then I'll say I can go and help DJ the show, and so I've had the chance to do Tech 9.
Yep.
And then
Tech 9 was a big one.
Yeah, Tech 9 was
what about all the under?
See all your snaps from the Tech 9 one.
They're pretty lit.
That was a very surreal
I was
moment.
Up on stage behind the DJ booth. I'm seeing some pretty
cool
cool snaps right now.
And then we've played a couple of festivals. United.
Yep.
Dim. We can't talk about it, but we have We have a summer show in August coming up.
Yep.
Exclusive.
Yeah.
Can't talk about it, but
Can't
just
talk
talk
about
it.
Heard it here first.
Just dropping the date.
Yeah.
Can't talk about details.
No.
Yeah,
but just know there's something coming up in August. And then we book a lot of the shows too. And then with Gin and Tonic and friends, we've had the chance to play at the Hidden Gem a bunch of times and DJ with a bunch of other local DJs as well, and rappers too.
I'm actually gonna shout out a couple of them, if you guys don't mind. DJ Hazy Maid.
Yeah.
Love you, bro. You are so sweet.
The Rock.
You are the rock to my stone cold heart. Is what you are. Greatest guy. Coda P.
Yeah.
Coda P, man. You show up every show we do. You're the greatest guy. The sweetest heart.
Indeed.
Who else we got? Well, obviously you got to shout out to my mama.
Oh.
No, yeah, because she works the gym, doesn't she?
Yeah. Tamara. Yeah. Or Tammy.
Shout out
she
to
would
Tammy.
like to be called. Yeah.
We love you.
Love you so much. And thank you for everything you do for us. And keep on keeping on because you're amazing. and allow us to come out and chill with these cool cats, because you guys are fucking awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, man.
Hell yeah.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah.
There you go. Sweet.
Cheers. How's your beer?
Cheers.
You got
Empty.
another beer there? Oh, it's empty. We gotta get another beer before we do the cheers.
Oh, there we
no
go.
beer.
Thank you guys.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Shout out to Mom.
Matt has no Dr.
Yeah.
Pepper.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Matt,
I
you
half
have a beer?
expected you to pull one out of the helmet.
I'll have beer.
Man, were you like finger painting or something? What's going on?
Yeah, I was actually finger painting a mural.
If nobody knows, in the daytime we do stucco, because, you know, it's hard to...
Stucco and scaffolding is our
We
daily
did do a
grind.
stint for, I would say, about 6 months of just playing shows.
Yeah.
But those were mostly casino shows, and that's not what we
Oh yeah, we
wanted to
used
do.
to be casino DJs too.
Oh,
which,
it was a nightmare.
which helped.
Just a
Well,
bunch of old people?
It
or-
did.
it helped
well,
me
yeah.
more so finding, because when I got into like actually performing DJing, I wanted to be just dubstep. But then, and he told me all the time, you can't just be a dubstep DJ. I was like, why
Yeah.
not? And then I started
Diversity,
doing,
man.
the casino shows, and after
It
that,
teaches you. That's what I'll go off of. It teaches you a lot,
yeah,
but it's not somewhere you want to be trapped in the endless loop of, I go to work, I have to be there for 9 o'clock until 3 a.m. usually,
Yeah.
and then have to drive home. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to sound like I'm bitching or anything, but it was, because we did that for about 6 months.
yeah.
Well, I did it for the better half of a year,
Yeah.
just
And
to
then
see how it
would
panned out, right? Because I was always about like booking my own shows, making sure I had other acts rather than just myself. Like, I didn't want just like a track 6 or Leatherface show and then Matt came in, he was like, oh, I can help with those if you ever need anybody to like fill in for you. And then it slowly progressed where I didn't have to go, Matt would go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Right,
Which
that
helped.
was his gig versus me lining up the gigs so that we would put him in the barrel and shoot him down, right?
Yeah. Which it helped me
Yeah.
a lot to find like other genres.
Your style
Yeah,
and
my
how
style.
to play.
And with
yeah.
that, I found that I was good with mixing deep house.
Yeah, that was one of your main
Yeah.
things. I think I showed up there one night just to go see how he was doing, and I was like, oh my god. These cuts and drops are insane, man. I went up to him and he was like,
And that was only like 2 months into
yeah, you were
DJing.
actually really doing it very well.
Thank you.
And like going from the Canadian tower, because he just wanted to be like more producer, more artist kind of style,
Yeah.
which is what was the weird thing about us. My first thing was I just wanted to DJ.
Yeah.
I didn't want to build the music. I didn't want to, have that all, you know what I mean? That's too much for me. But then years down the road, he's the one that would rather build the music
And then not just.
and
twist
then not
knobs.
just twist knobs.
Which-
And I would just be like, all right, here you go. You want to play a show this
Yeah.
weekend?
Yeah.
Have fun.
Exactly.
I'm going to go talk to some people about us playing some more shows,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Getting some big gigs
Some
going.
PR shit here.
Exactly,
some
right?
there.
Yeah.
That's awesome that you're building it that way, though. So, like, because you don't really have to rely on each other to both go do shows at the same
No.
time. Like,
No.
you can
Not
still
at
get
all.
work done on the side. You can go play the
Yeah,
shows.
so
You
we
guys aren't
balance it.
known for being on stage
Yeah, we're
together
not-
necessarily, but you can.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
like to say we're not in a relationship.
Well, we have different views on that then.
Yeah.
Oh, Matt's a little heartbroken.
Yeah, I guess so, eh?
Sorry.
Maddie Matt, yeah.
I'm just crying tonight.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Just go and play World of Warcraft.
And that's the best thing, is having,
Sad Rala session.
Yeah.
Sad
Therapy
music.
session nonetheless.
yeah, exactly.
We're gonna defeat
Oh,
the
no,
Lich
I've come home some nights and I've seen him crying in the corner. No. Yeah.
He doesn't want me.
Yeah.
King. Look at myself.
Yeah, exactly.
You were saying earlier that all your art and visual stuff's done in-house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so we actually produce all our visuals and also all our graphics. So,
Nice.
well, yeah. So like we'll have nights where he'll watch me in Photoshop and he'll say, hey, let's change this, let's change that. And so all our album covers are designed by me. And then before I release them, I send them to him and say, hey, is there like one or two things that you can change?
Does that just do something? Oh, of course.
Yeah. And so, yeah, which helps out a lot.
I
thought I was the only one who noticed.
No, I noticed it.
I definitely noticed.
It helps out because then it's more like personal instead of like reaching out to a guy on Fiverr and paying like $10 and then saying, hey, can you...
Oh no, and he'll be like, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong.
Exactly.
It's like, really?
Yeah.
You know what, everybody's... I'm not saying everybody, but like, for most people, it's really hard to get good, honest feedback where it's like, you know what, this needs to be different, this needs to be changed, and this can just get thrown out the window.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is the hardest thing for people to do.
Yeah, because
but with me,
are hard.
There's a couple... There's
not a whole lot of ego involved.
No, there's no
That's
ego
awesome.
involved because
We're
that's a good point to bring up because a lot of people in Kelowna have this big mindset, big blown up head where it's like
they play one club show and like I've
I
experienced that where like or like both of us will open up for a
literally,
local rapper.
Yeah.
And it's his first club show. The next day, he's like, "Oh, I played this one club show. Now I'm this and that." It's like you played.
Follow me on SoundCloud.
You played one club show. You're not
literally. Yeah.
Oh man, that's like a meme now.
No, it was insane because there was a period of time where we did that for 3 months. We had when Level was a thing, back to back to back to back to back. No, not shitting on Level. No, loved it. Loved the bookings, but it was really hard to, play the music for these guys the way they wanted it played. And it's like, okay, we'll do that. It's not hard for us, press play, stop, press play, stop, we're very...
Sorry, continue.
Yeah, no.
Do clubs sometimes pick the genre for you?
Yes.
Really?
Depending, yes, on the show.
If it's a hip-hop show, they'll only want hip-hop.
Strictly hip-hop, yeah.
But I've like stepped out of the box on a couple
of course
those
you have.
Yes.
Because you're Matt.
And sometimes it's done good. Other times they're like, yeah, we didn't like that. But it's also like stepping out of that comfort zone and saying like, oh, what if there's someone in the crowd or like a handful of people in the crowd that don't want to
listen to this.
Yeah. And then like I've played a couple
I think
tracks.
I told you that too, right? I was like, in the intermissions, doesn't matter.
Oh, exactly.
Just don't play any
like
mumble
crazy.
rap
or
some
country.
garbage. Or that's another one too.
Except for regular.
Well, I'm not a hater on country. It can be good, but
It can be. Taylor Swift. Old school Taylor Swift.
It's all up to the
Darius
person
Rucker.
to.
Oh, Wagon Wheel? That's
Rock me.
what we connect on. It's
Yeehaw.
Wagon Wheel.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. That was funny. Good.
But yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes like depends on the show and if the club owner wants like a hip hop night, then
Oh, just the promoters, not the owner.
I want only country hop.
Yeehaw.
So like Old Town
Old
Road.
Town
and-
Road.
Is Old Town Road even country or is it?
It's country
It's-
rap, like
it has
What a
It's not
what
even
a
like-
horrific genre.
country
Like,
fans
what?
love it, and they're playing it on all the country radio stations. That's what I don't get.
I think
it's like
because
it's
Billy Ray
bridged
Cyrus
over.
is on there. I think it's
yeah,
it's
good
considered
point.
more
I think
so
it was
country.
It's like two things we
more.
never want to hear together.
I think if Florida Georgia Line didn't come along, the country music scene wouldn't be ready. For
Yeah,
it.
that's
That's
very
true.
true. That's very true.
if Keith
Yeah.
Urban didn't bring his pretty face around,
That's also-
Yeah. No.
his easily hateable face.
His easily hateable face. Yeah.
I haven't seen his face in like 15 years.
Every time I'm riding a horse in Red Dead Redemption, everybody that passes by, I see his face. So it's just like...
just keep Urban's everywhere.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Oh, I see you. Yeah.
There should be a mod that's just Keith Urban. All NPCs are turned into Keith Urban.
Oh God! What did I just start?
Arthur Urban.
Somebody's gonna make a mod.
Arthur Urban. Yeah, there you go.
Somebody's gonna make a mod of that.
Oh,
Every single
definitely.
face.
As soon as this hits the internet.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Any celebrity that wears a cowboy hat, so like Burt Reynolds or something. Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
So
John Wayne.
let's talk a little bit more about Hidden Gem and your Vortex Room shows.
Okay.
Because
Yes.
you're saying, yeah, your mom opened that. Actually, it's kind of funny. Because last time I met with my cousin, I was talking to him a little bit about what we were doing.
Yeah.
And like he's a banker, he does all that crap. But he was saying that the guy who he trained, the guy under him, actually like financed that deal for the gem. So I was telling him everything.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh yeah, they got the Hidden Gem." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, my buddy, like my guy who I just trained, was telling me about that." I'm like, "Really?" He says, "Yeah, he's been telling me to come down. Like they do some cool shows and stuff like that." I was like, "That's my friend who's doing those shows."
Yeah. No. What we do is normally we plan for every other Saturday because
Every 2 weeks.
what the whole mindset behind that is, you know what, we know what it's like to be college kids and not have a lot of money, and then you know, college Thursday comes around and you know it's just a name, you know, because Level used to have that. It's Saturdays is when you want to go out and actually get a little buck wild before you have to go back to work.
That's
really,
true.
right? Or spend Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, just whatever, just chilling out, watching Netflix. Who cares, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people got to work Saturdays too.
Oh,
So they
exactly.
don't want to go out on
right?
Friday, but
No,
like a lot of people,
yeah.
if you get days off, like you're off on Sunday
Yeah.
most likely, and then maybe if you don't get Monday off, you're off another day during the week.
Exactly.
Like Saturday night's perfect. for shows
Perfect.
Like
And who knows what Canadian Tire days off?
that.
Jesus Christ.
Ain't that true?
Oh, here we
Get
go,
your shit
Matt.
together.
Since
No.
you
Get your
mentioned
shit
it,
together.
Yeah.
Sorry, but
you
Come on.
CC boys.
We'll give you a schedule for 2 weeks, and then we'll change it, and then it's on and off. You
On
never
and
know.
off, on and off.
You never know your schedule. That was the worst thing about Canadian.
But no, the gem shows. We actually got another one. I'm gonna throw in a plug here. Walter Wild,
Yeah, I've seen you
July
guys advertising
13th.
that one.
Yeah.
Man,
July 13th.
you're gonna want to show up to that one, man.
Yeah.
July
It's gonna
13th,
be
Walter Wild.
boom.
Hidden
This is
Gem.
the biggest
there.
production we're putting on. Biggest production we've ever done, and the whole restaurant is. Because we got the patio space, we got the upstairs space, the main dining room space, all set to go for that. So there'll be 3 different elements and 3 different DJs
Oh, really?
per.
Yeah, because I wanted to
Per-
ask you guys, like, when you do the shows, is it just one level that you're doing them on, or is it split?
It
'Cause you have
depends on
multiple DJs?
it depends on the event.
Right.
Yeah.
It really does depend on the event.
Yeah,
For the Walter Wild one outside, what we're gonna start it out with is because nobody wants to be walking by in the mid-afternoon and hear grimy dubstep rhythm, right? So we're gonna throw on a nice little house set,
Nice.
throw on some dank vibes out there, and then upstairs will be more of your let's get buck wild before you come down
Once
to
you
the
get
patio
Yeah.
and get really rowdy, right?
Nice.
And then the main inside will be basically like house all night. So it's so much different. There's so many different elements, which is great because nowhere in Kelowna offers that. And that was Matt and I's whole idea is like there's nobody out there in because that's where I started, that's where Matt started, and we just wished one day that we could get out there and play it, right?
Yeah. Because
And-
everyone starts off as, like, even I haven't watched any interviews with Walter Wild, but I can only imagine that he started off as a bedroom DJ.
Oh,
Like Excision, Downlink, like all these massive DJs all started where we were.
Both from Kelowna.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
so
exactly.
if we didn't, so if if we wait for someone else to promote local DJs, then there's not going to be...
You're waiting for nothing.
Yeah,
You have to
so-
go put your own foot in the door, in
Yeah.
a sense, right? You have to literally, well, in this day and age, literally kick it in.
Yeah.
If you don't...
There's so many people
Yeah,
behind
I'm
you.
here, I'm ready.
I'm a good
yeah.
DJ, trust me.
Follow me.
Yeah.
Follow me on
Yeah.
this. Follow me on this. Follow me on this. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
Follow,
so many
follow,
things
follow.
we have to follow people on.
Stalk me.
Yeah.
Stalk me, yeah.
Stalk me so you
Well,
know I'm
no.
good.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so...
It is pretty much short of stalking. Like, it's...
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no more privacy.
No.
There's a thin
No.
wall between, like, your IG and shit, and then, like, your
Well,
address.
even
Like,
people get upset when you
Yeah.
don't share some things. Like you can, if you only share like a part of your life, the other half, some people will get upset. It's like, oh, why didn't you post about that? Oh, why didn't you like text me that you were gonna be there? Oh, like why didn't you
I've
share?
had that.
Yeah,
Yep.
like there's things that I'll post about because I want people to see, but then there's like some things that I won't post about, and then people will get upset because I didn't post those things. It's just like, can't we keep like personal things
There's-
anymore?
Work relationship,
Yeah.
right? Like, you know, I don't consider this work because I'm hanging out with two awesome dudes. Thank you
Hey.
guys
Nice,
so
man.
much
No
for
problem.
having
Good
us
times, good
on.
times.
Yeah, no,
Just
it's
chilling
great, man. No, that's
Dude.
great. And I can't wait to see where this podcast goes because this is freaking awesome. Like,
Cool. Yeah.
no,
Hopefully
it's
a
a
studio
great
and not
idea.
a-
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
No,
out. No.
But the apartment
we'll
feels...
be back in a year and we'll be downtown in a studio. And be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
this is so foreign.
Wait,
Yeah.
where's the couch?
Yeah.
Why
We
am I
had some
not
high
sitting on
hopes
a
for
couch?
some. We
Yeah.
had some high hopes for some big guests too. I won't talk about them now, but I can
Oh, yeah.
I can tell you about them after. But
No, for sure. No.
Upstairs studio on Bernard. Like,
There you go.
That's
Some-
the
window, corner window.
oh,
Yeah.
there you
overlooking
Shut it
Kelowna.
up.
go. Like, if
Yeah.
Earl's wasn't where Earl's is, that's
That's where we'd be.
We'll just
No.
buy the penthouse in Ella once that gets built up.
There you go.
Do it there.
Got a couple mil to
Yeah.
drop.
Oh
right?
yeah. Once we
Yeah.
start
I'll
making
be there.
bank off of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the Vortex Room was actually birthed out of Wolf Shock,
Yeah.
Oh, right.
and because when I started Wolf Shock,
Some elements.
yeah, like when I started Wolf Shock, it was very much metal punk rap. And then
Yeah.
once I started getting into the like club electronic scene, I wanted to keep those two things separate. And then I was like, oh, like how can I still document the club scene or like the underground club scene, but not have it a part of Wolf Shock? And so after like a couple of months bouncing ideas, like I was gonna come out with Wolf Shock Net, which was gonna be the like club scene vibe, but then I was like, I don't want Wolf Shock to be
You don't want a
attached to that.
spin-off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's actually funny how I came up with the Vortex room name. I was playing Life is Strange for the PS4, and and the main character you're playing as, she was walking through her high school, and I see this poster for this event that they had going on in the in-game school dance, or it was for a school dance, and they called it the Vortex. And so I was like, oh, that, and then it like dawned on me, I would be like, oh, that would be a cool, like, call it the Vortex, because you don't know what's there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
I thought it was like YTV, like.
Yeah.
From Vortex.
Hey, kitties.
No,
yeah,
like,
pretty much.
after
Sugar
I
and
thought of
carbs.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk about throwback.
Yeah, no. When he came to me about the idea, and like I said, I had the venue ready,
Yeah.
and like the only thing was just getting it put across to the community was basically
And like
really trying to sell it. You know what I mean? Like,
Because
that's the
everyone-
hardest part. Is, you know, you can have the greatest idea in the world, you know, but it's selling it to the public
Yeah.
and getting them to buy and take into what you're offering
and being
them, right?
interested in it.
That's why the visuals are so important.
Yeah,
That's where that's where the mask comes from, the hidden identity.
Yeah.
That's why, like in the past, you have Dead Mouse, you have Marshmallow, like the hiding
Exactly.
Yes.
For
For
Like
sure.
there's something to
never-
it that
I'm surprised more guys haven't done that because I feel like Dead Mouse and Marshmallow are at least the biggest. I don't
Daft
I don't
Punk.
personally know
Marshmallow's
Daft Punk.
up there very big right now, for
Marshmallow
sure.
in the
At this
last
time,
5
when
years.
this comes out,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
In the last 5 years, Marshmallow has definitely broadened the whole mask identity idea, but going back to like the late 80s, early 90s with Daft Punk.
Daft Punk, they did
Bucket
bags over their heads.
There's
yeah.
one
That's right.
interview that they did where they just had bags over their
Yeah.
head because they were
And-
so serious about
Oof,
not having
if we want
their-
to talk about Daft Punk, we could be here all
Oh,
So
night.
you guys are going for Daft Punk.
Yeah, well, because that-
sort
Get
of,
group
but
to
not
model after.
No, exactly.
main influence, man.
Yeah, they're
main influence.
they're more
yeah.
the influence for me.
They're more disco though.
Well, how they like pioneered stuff. Like you'd hear something.
Oh,
like
they
Daft Punk
pioneered.
song,
Well,
and
yeah.
then
you would
everyone
hear
would start
one-
doing that, right?
You
Yeah.
would hear
Pioneered a lot
one
of
more
things.
time.
Oh,
Yeah.
very much.
You
yeah.
would hear one more time by Daft Punk, and you wouldn't know that was made by Daft Punk.
That song just popped in my head.
But
That's the thing with Daft Punk. You
Yeah.
say the name of their song, it's just you hear it
Boom.
instantly.
Just earworms all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, the music video for that is crazy.
Oh, it's not.
Sing it, Matt.
It's in my head.
Well,
yeah.
but
All
yeah,
of the lyrics, yeah.
Yeah, all the lyrics.
can I pull up my phone for this
Beginning
one?
to end, yeah.
Can I cheat? Hey, teacher, can I have a cheat on this test?
Man, you should have like a sample thing you pull out and it starts playing that song.
Oh,
Sing it on your
sure.
arm.
Yeah.
What?
Nice. Like a small little keyboard, like-
Well, here I go.
Exactly.
Like a power glove. With like,
A power glove, that's a
Oh.
sound, a
That's power
soundboard.
fist.
That's just going, oh, power
that
fest.
should be
Oh,
so
God damn.
If you converted like a percussion pad.
Let me
into-
tell you about something.
Oh man.
Do we want to talk about our music?
No,
production history?
yeah, no, that's another thing for other times, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
But yeah, the Vortex Room, and then where I got the name or the word room from is there's a UK based media like does
Boiler
the
room.
same thing called Boiler Room, and I
Shout out.
so the shout out to Boiler Room
I
because
think
without
I've
their
heard of.
Oh, they
They're-
do some
yeah.
big
they are
shows.
crazy because they do it in Spain, Italy, Russia, most of the UK, and so
And they get the biggest of the biggest
Oh,
DJs
yeah.
to come out. Not even DJs, just artists, just to come out and really push their,
and
just
so,
push the idea, and it was just like, oh my god.
And so I saw
It's
what they were
insane.
doing,
Yeah.
and I was like, "That's a great idea." And then it comes back to where like we could do big name DJs, but like it's cool.
We don't have that ammo in our arsenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But since we're both so connected in the underground scene, I was like, what a better time and place to promote the local bedroom DJs. And because who knows in a year or 5 years when they're playing Shambhala, Ultra, Tomorrowland, and they're headlining, we can say, oh, we booked their first show.
We shouted you out. Exactly.
And
Yeah.
and then we could say, hey, we booked their first show, we booked their first 10 shows, and then it's just that like we have so much in front of us, why not use that?
Yeah.
And like instead of waiting for someone else to book local DJs, why not be those guys that books DJs or the local DJs? And so that was the idea of the Vortex Room, and like there's so much more that we're gonna be doing with it, and it's not just gonna be a show based company.
No.
We're working on a compilation CD
Oh,
album.
we're working with a lot more sponsors
Yeah.
too, because we just recently got sponsored by Caribou Brewing and
Shout out Caribou.
Yeah.
yeah, there you go,
Yeah.
Caribou Brewing, And then another sponsor, which has yet to be announced.
As we're drinking records.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just get them
think
all
the
out of
labels
frame.
are-
Yeah, we're just waiting for
This
it.
is not the sponsor we are talking about.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
I
Hey,
wish.
Caribou, where's our free beer? Come on.
Caribou.
So,
Come on, hook us up.
sorry,
Free-
Caribou,
free
for
Caribou
what's
all
happening
times.
right now.
Yeah.
Don't hate us. Don't
This is the Grizzly
No,
podcast.
I think Caribou's like more bisexual when it comes to beer.
Yeah, if
I don't
Caribou wants to
think
pay us, I'll
I
put
don't
Caribou
think it
cans on the
cares
table.
about what
No.
kind of beer you go to as long as
Yeah.
you come back to it.
Yeah.
Oh, I can finally admit I like Cruise
Exactly.
like
Is this
this.
not a
The
compliment?
executives are sitting there like, our beer's better anyway.
Oh, I feel so much better now. Oh, it's just a weird
Oh shit, man! Yeah.
I'm glad I was able to fucking come out on this.
Fuck.
Imagine.
Oh
I
my
hate
God, dude.
this couch. We need a better seating arrangement.
One day.
One day.
My
One day. We'll
We'll
be
be
there.
butts into
We
it
could just
this
buy-
right
Rolling
better.
on 3.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Exactly.
One day.
Yeah.
You know how many people are going to see this one? Well,
No,
actually, probably a lot because these
Yeah,
guys
probably
yeah.
one and
a
two,
lot.
one and two.
Oh man.
We're going to have one person watch one and 2 people watch 2.
At
There
least,
you go.
at least.
And then 300
10
will watch
people.
3,000.
There you go.
30,000, 3 million.
I'm shooting
3
for
million.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the kind of number I want to see.
That's the count.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited to see what happens with Vortex
Thank
Room
you.
because obviously, you know, we're working
Yep.
together with that,
That's
Grizzly and
true.
stuff like that. We're gonna help
Mm-hmm.
you guys promote that. You know, I'll promote as many shows as we can. Get
We
involved.
love that,
all
man. That'd be great.
Because at the end of the day, we're trying to build an all-out just media organization. We want to focus
Yeah.
on music, comedy, you know, esports, cannabis, food, whatever the fuck.
Exactly, right?
So, you know,
Just
we
a
wanna-
whole-
We want to help you guys as much as possible.
Right now.
Get involved.
Thank you
How was
so
it doing that?
Yeah, I don't even know. Yeah, right on. Well, thank you guys.
No
Yeah,
worries.
what are we
Great.
sitting at here?
42 minutes?
42 minutes. Wow.
42
Cleared
minutes.
up. Well, we
That's
still
a long
got.
ass-
Let's close out the last 10-15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you guys were talking a little bit like you mainly do like drum and bass stuff, right? But I want to ask you the question that you get asked in every interview as an artist. Describe your sound. Are you?
So,
Shut up, Matt.
Oh!
So that's how we describe our sound.
we're coming up with this sick country
Remember
Give me
the
a second
ego
for
thing we
that.
talked
I can elaborate a little
So,
bit better
spoiler alert, we're dropping a country album, and
Oh,
here. Yeah,
Is Lil
no,
Nas X on it?
no,
Kidding.
no. Anyway,
but yes.
no, our sound design
Featuring Billy Ray.
basically consists of I was born and bred serum, sort of serum, massive,
Yeah.
just straight from the straight sine wave.
Right.
Build that up, you know, that creates your kick, snare, even your lead bass or your lead hi-hat, lead synth, whatever you need, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's it, what it is. Everything else on the underneath, you can either go to splice, chop up some good shit,
Yeah.
and then go from there. If anybody, I don't know where you're listening to this, if you're just starting, but you know, there's a lot of places out, things that you can get start with, like right here.
That's true.
Just sample,
Yeah.
just sample your own
They could
shit.
sample
That was a free sample right there.
That-
Right
true.
there,
Cut that
nice
out.
little.
That's what I love about
There you
sound
go.
design. Like you can do it with anything.
Anything,
That's true.
Like
whatever
I was,
you want.
I was listening to. I did the boot camp at Cato, and quickly, I was told that the way they made the wing swoops on the
Yeah.
it was a toaster tied to a rope, and they swung it around like
They
that.
swung
and
it
every single
around,
time the
yeah.
toaster came in front of the mic, that's the swoop. I was like, wow,
Yeah,
just like
no,
the things that they
Just the
do in sound
things.
design.
Yeah, it's all you need is a mic, a laptop,
And
and
you
that's
imagine
that's
that
good. Like you could even have this for hi-hats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
There's the stems right there.
Free
right
hi-hat
there.
samples.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Giving
no.
away a pack.
Hit me up
This
if
is
you
gonna
want.
be for a sample
This is
pack.
gonna be a sample pack.
Yeah.
Let's play.
Oh, they'll
Yeah.
send you an Audacity file.
Exactly.
If you want this sample pack, just email us. Just comment down
what
below.
on a real note is like what I seen is a lot of people going to like shipping yards and like opening doors.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've
closing
seen that too.
them,
Yeah,
like,
that's really cool.
slamming
Yeah.
them, like
Just like
that's
banging
freaking-
like heavy equipment
Yeah.
with logs and stuff.
Exactly. Getting that like natural vibration. It's all natural, right?
Yeah.
You have to come at music with a natural approach with
Yes.
that,
Oh, for
right?
sure.
Like you have to think is like, well, would I listen to this? If not, then throw it
That's
in the
true.
trash, right?
You have
like,
to make your own. And like I heard Skrillex say this: if you can't listen to it yourself, then why would anyone else listen to
Oh,
it?
of course,
exactly, right?
Essentially, make your candy for yourself, because if you enjoy it, you're going to show other people, and then other people are going to enjoy it.
And then they're gonna get enthused by it, right?
Exactly.
And then they're gonna.
Which is the craziest
Big thing is energy too. You
Yeah.
have to have energy and
Oh, yeah.
stage presence. If
Oh, yeah.
if you don't have energy and stage presence, that's all good.
Quiet on the set.
Yeah.
That's what Matt's for.
That's what Matt's for. Oh my god, that was funny. Oh yeah.
I want to close off with one last question.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
having
yeah.
experience with Wolf Shock and being in Gin and Tonic,
Yeah.
have you seen the club scene sort of turn away from rock and metal into EDM and hip hop?
With Kelowna, basing it off Kelowna, Kelowna is insanely diverse, and so you're gonna get like 50% going only to metal shows and 50% only going to club shows, and it's very rare that they'll mesh together. And so
Unless you're us.
yeah, unless you're us, there's a very like slim chance. Now, I know a lot of rappers nowadays wear like Metallica, Slayer, Misfits merch, but they actually don't listen to those bands. They only wear them because Metallica has sick merch.
It's just a brand.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
12-year-old girls who don't know what Metallica is.
Yeah.
wear it
They think it's a
because-
brand.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah,
wear
Thrasher.
Metallica.
Thrasher's
Yeah.
just a brand.
Same with
right?
Nirvana.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, Guns N' Roses,
And
yeah. All those classic Def Leppard,
what's that other one?
Van
Ramones.
Halen,
Oh, yeah,
too.
Ramones.
Yeah.
All
All
the
the
classic
Ramones.
bands.
Yeah, which their designs are super sick, but
By the way, Rhythm Sauce hoodies are still on sale
That
on
is
my
true.
Instagram
Ooh, the
at
segue,
DJ
though.
Track 6.
We're gonna let you guys. That's probably a good closeout.
Yeah.
Right there. That's probably a good closeout. We're gonna let you guys plug everything you want: dates,
man.
websites, Instagram, Facebook, whatever.
Like I said, thank you so much for having us.
No problem. Anytime.
Hell yeah.
Love it, man.
We want to make you guys. You guys regular guests. Matt's a host. I mean, we don't have to. Make him a
Yeah,
guest.
you don't need
Yeah,
to
make-
get
make
you
him
gotta
a
get
regular
read.
guest.
Yeah,
But when
man.
he's with you, he's half a host, half a guest. So.
Exactly.
but yeah, it was fun.
Plug away, Matt.
Gin and Tonic.
Yeah, what's the new single we got coming up?
Wild Cells.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, by the time this is out, it should be out.
Yeah.
Nice.
The month of June, we released a track every week, and
Yep.
so we are up to. We have our EP on Spotify, and also 3 brand new tracks, with the 4th one coming out. And so we're taking a break during the month of July, but August we're gonna come back and do the same model. And so we'll have a lot of content or songs on our Spotify, which is Gin and Tonic. Simple as
Couldn't
that.
have said it better myself,
Follow them.
man.
Merci.
Follow them on Spotify.
Excellent.
I do, and so should you. And that's that.
Go do it,
Do it.
Yeah.
Braden.
Do it.
Instagram.
K-Town Yamaha,
Stuff.
as always.
There you go. Go follow Grzly.co on Instagram, grzly.co. Go follow Christian RJS. Instagram. That's it. Facebook. Check it out.
Adios.
Thank you,
Get
guys.
down,
Au
fool.
revoir.
Right on.
Perfect.